Hi everyone, my name is Sylvia, and I thought I'd share my story because I'm in a predicament, I'm in a pickle, and I need some help. I can't even set up like a crowdfunding campaign from where I'm forced to live, because I guess payment's not supported, and I'm gonna use voice to text to kind of read out some of what I wrote, like describing the situation I'm in. I'm not gonna do it because I have pure OCD, and I kind of have these rituals where I have to keep like talking to myself and saying some things over and over again, and also, like, it could be quite triggering, like just sort of thinking about that and talking about that, and I literally have to keep my mind off that and not think about my problems too much at the moment. But I thought I'd give you this little introduction just so you know, like, I'm a real person, and yeah, so I can't even like set up a crowdfunding campaign on Go Get Funding, never mind like GoFundMe. So yeah, I'm gonna tell you my story, and this is sort of like an SOS to the world. I hope that someone gets my message in a bottle.
Worried my life is over before it even had a chance to begin. My whole life story. Not set up to succeed. Kept imprisoned since birth. No one has my best interest in mind, and they treat me like I don't matter. Like my needs don't matter, and like I don't deserve a good life. I was born in a really bad place, a third world country, where I don't belong. I don't share any values or worldviews with them, and nothing about this place is normal to me or reflects who I am at all. There is no life for me here. I didn't have a life, a childhood, or any relationships with anyone I love or respect. I hate this place and always have. I was abandoned as a newborn, but it's not like it matters, since the people who adopted me have not given me a good life, because, quite frankly, no one here can give me what I need. They think a good life is superfluous. But they were especially abusive, and even people here would probably agree. They are religious extremists, moralists, and pro-life. I am irreligious and pro-choice. I used to be an atheist, materialist. Even as a kid I never believed in their religion. They could never condition me. Now I am quite spiritual, idealist and woo-woo. But still very much an individualist and independent thinker. I'm not a realist or practical. I believe in the impossible. I am very sensitive, so being in this hostile environment that is not aligned with my soul's truth is really harmful and distressing. I don't know how this was allowed to happen to me. The fact that they think they know what's best for me, or that they are my people, or that they are good for me when they have abused me my entire life, and I feel so uneasy and disturbed by their presence, is so unsettling. I have nowhere to turn to. This place is so crowded. I hear everything, and just being in this environment is so disturbing. Even in my room, I can't get any peace. And knowing that if I open the door and go outside it gets much worse. Even if I was in a soundproof box, I would still feel disturbed by just being here. Just because it's normal for them, it's not normal for me. Nothing about this place is normal. And they treat me like I'm the problem, and that I am crazy and I am not allowed to feel the way I feel and think like I think. That who I am inside doesn't matter. They think they own me and that I belong here, when I don't. They are not my family. Just hearing their voices makes my skin crawl. They never were. But they keep getting away with this. This is not my life. I need to leave. I just want to be able to live life unburdened by the expectation to be someone I am not. And free from this fake identity and role that were imposed on me and do not reflect me in the slightest. They think I am the problem, and it took me a while to heal from the damage of the years of being invalidated and gaslit, including by the dozens of therapists I was forced to see. No matter who I talked to here, and explain I've been psychologically abused by my parents, they always take their side and say I should be grateful and have nothing to complain about, and that I need help. But not in a nice way. They just think the way I think is wrong. That I should be grateful I don't technically live in a slum, and that I was adopted, that I am educated, when everything I know I had to teach myself, that I am not starving. And, like, I have nothing. I don't have a life, I have none of my needs met, but I am expected to give up who I am and live for other people I don't even like, people I absolutely hate, because the little that I have is apparently too much. That I should just accept this and stop complaining. They are unwilling and unable to understand me and the extent to which they have wronged me. They think they own me, and that I shouldn't have a choice as to who I am. I need to leave. I don't understand why I am expected to have to deal with this and talk to these people and have to interact with people who disturb me to my core, and be surrounded by them, being forced to hear them playing their disgusting music. I literally have to have something playing 24/7 on my headphones, so I don't hear what's going on outside and the noises people make, because then I am reminded of them and who I am surrounded by. I also can't meditate or listen to something relaxing, because some of the outside noise will seep through and ruin the vibe and throw me off completely and make me panic. I have to wait until I literally pass out every time I sleep because I can't just lie down quiet. It's not my thoughts that are the problem, it's the environment and noises that don't let me relax, and I am pretty sure I wouldn't have to worry and would be easier for me to dismiss scary and intrusive thoughts if I knew I was safe, but I am still here. I am still in the dangerous situation. I watched a reading a few weeks ago that summed up a lot of what I am having to deal with pretty well. She said what she was picking up on was the dichotomy between how you feel within your own being and what you know to be your truth spiritually, versus what the world shows you and how the world treats you. It's about the fake life I am forced to live and about how people project their stuff and expectations onto me here, and that it's an ugly duckling type of scenario. They could never do right by me. I have really tried up until a couple of years ago. I went to therapy, I sought help, even saw a few local spiritual practitioners, but they only ended up doing more harm than good because of their perspective and how they see the world. I am glad it didn't work out because I was seeking help from the wrong people, people who could never understand me or my needs. I literally couldn't physically continue this charade or pretend to have this fake life, or having to continuously interact and deal with them and have that be my life. And I came to learn that was the correct thing to do, gave me some peace of mind and brought me back to my energy. Me having to live, work, study here, interact with them, I couldn't do that. It would destroy my soul, and just being here does. Every time I am forced to talk and interact with them is torture. They don't care about me and my feelings or well-being, I don't care about them either. This situation doesn't benefit anybody. They are energy vampires and survive off draining me. They know that once I am gone, they will stop being able to feed off my precious and rare energy. They just want to dim my light because they know what I have and am. They could never have that or be that. Someone left me somewhere, at a sort of social work department of maternity hospital when I was approximately 2 weeks old, and what had happened to me up until that point is a mystery. It's really messed up because in my adoption papers it says that someone was handed me to hold by presumably my mother nearby the hospital while they would make a phone call and they would come back and never did, both women presumably adults. But then apparently someone talked to the people who worked there, a nurse at the time, and she said what she heard from the people who worked at that department, that it was my mother herself, a teenager apparently, who went to the social work department directly and left me there and didn't provide any identifiable information, and they just let her leave. And then I was put up for adoption. But anyway, I ended up here would have been just as bad. They came up with this whole story that the person who got handed me on the street was handed me by an East Asian lady. So confusing. It's what's on my adoption papers, but there aren't many people other than locals here, because who would want to immigrate here? And I did one of those genealogical DNA tests in order to find who did this to me, and never got a close enough match. But I am not of Asian descent. They just said that because to them I looked like it when I was a newborn, so they just came up with this whole story to cover up for her, and they didn't take a name or anything. Probably gave birth to me in the hospital and was told to bring me back later, and forego the whole adoption process. So cover-ups, deceit, and lies from the off. A whole conspiracy against me. There is no one or nowhere I can turn to. I was told all the time as a kid that I was a bad person, and should live in fear of some karmic retribution, consequences, and having to pay. That I was a liar, and a bad person, and that life was going to get me, when it already had. They were trying to make me fear hell, when I was already in it, lol, when the reality was they were just too strict. And also being told that you have to work hard and toil and suffer and that life is struggle and sacrifice. They just made me live in fear. That at any point I could lose anything. And things could get worse. And I would just have to learn to live with it. And they told me that life is sacrifice and struggle. And that suffering is somehow a virtue. They have no concept of quality of life, mental well-being, or hobbies. Anything. They don't know what that is. They don't care that I wasn't set up to succeed. No one here cares about that. They think life here is normal. My parents made me get into local universities 4 times. And every time I had to take this stupid exam, because they don't have something like an SAT exam or A-levels, and I had to take this exam every year and can't ever reuse the scores or anything. But I would attend the first few classes and then start skipping and going to the library to be on my laptop because I literally couldn't physically bring myself to attend them. They don't have many course options here, nothing interesting, and it's a very closed-off country to the world. The way they teach things is wrong. Everything they teach is so wrong, they are so closed off to the world at large and really ignorant about stuff. So, it's not like a course I could sit through. I couldn't have a job here or have most of my time be spent listening or talking to these people living this fake life. There is no institutional support here and I have spent all my life in therapy and they have done me more harm than good. People here don't know what quality of life and well-being is. I have had to learn myself to undo the damage they have done to me. I have literally been forced to interact with those people for decades now. I literally can't stand this anymore. I feel like I will go insane and start banging my head against the wall or something if I am forced to have a life here and have to interact with these people. I can't even bear to be here. I will never feel good here. This is agony and torture. Life is asking too much of me. To figure out a way out and to have some mental and emotional well-being. Well, I can't whilst living in this place. It's just not conducive to that. I don't know what I am supposed to do. I can't be okay with everything going on around me and just being here. I can't be focused or at peace or have a game plan. I can't function at all. I can't do anything about the situation and I can't bear to even be in this country. I might start banging my head against the walls. How can I do anything? Be expected to focus on anything and just be fine when I am in this shithole. I will never be happy in this place. I'm not okay. I need help. And it's not available. Not mental health help. They have tried for years to fix me with therapy and meds. I am too good for this place. I will never be happy or feel good or even function here. No institutional help, I have no rights, nowhere to turn to. Well, this place is the problem. Can't go asking for help from the people that are the problem and have harmed me. Not that I haven't tried. And I want nothing from them anyway. They literally can't understand me. I can't stand all the gaslighting and abuse. This place is the bane of my existence and my personal hell. Where I am being forced to live is the reason for all my trauma. There is no quality of life here, it is a culture I don't belong in, I'm being abused, there is no life for me here and I am constantly disturbed to my core by the surroundings and external stimuli, because this place is unsettling and disgusting. And I can't do anything to leave because of my debilitating anxiety, intrusive thoughts. I am in constant fight or flight mode and mid-trauma, and have been for all my life. I struggle with constant intrusive thoughts and OCD. I feel like I spend 24/7 battling them and fending my deepest fears off. They are mainly thoughts of me becoming someone I am not, someone from this place, or that I could start thinking and feeling like them or find this place appealing. Those who are familiar with puro and intrusive thoughts know they attack your core identity and values and try to convince you that you are or could become someone completely opposite to what you are. I just feel this constant threat looming over and that I have to be hypervigilant, because sometimes the intrusive thoughts come so I have to keep reassuring myself all the time of my true opinions and feelings about things, and try to keep them at bay, and sort of worried about doing enough to correct the intrusive thoughts when they come. Because I can't find myself in the things around me and this environment, and there are a lot of projections and expectations on me to be someone that is the opposite of what I am, so it's like my mind and my sense of self is the only thing I have, and that's so at odds with reality and circumstances, and this life right now and the people I have surrounding me. I have always felt like I had to protect myself and my whole identity and being was constantly under threat. This has always felt like an ugly charade they have put together just to torture me. And it feels like I am stuck in this nightmare. Life is asking too much of me. When all I have needed since I was a child was safety, security, and a home, and I never had that. It's a miracle I have survived this far. I remember thinking when I was a kid that no one in the history of humanity had suffered as much as I had or felt like that, even if their circumstances had been worse on paper, because that was my personal hell and I feel things very deeply. And honestly, I am still kind of convinced no one has. 27 years. People get less time for murder. If it's not clear from the text, I'm being forced to live in a squalid third world shithole, and people here are extremely ignorant and backwards. There is no one or nowhere I can turn to. I was told all the time as a kid that I was a bad person, and should live in fear of some karmic retribution, consequences, and having to pay. That I was a liar, and a bad person, and that life was going to get me, when it already had. They were trying to make me fear hell, when I was already in it, lol, when the reality was they were just too strict. And also being told that you have to work hard and toil and suffer and that life is struggle and sacrifice. They just made me live in fear. That at any point I could lose anything. And things could get worse. And I would just have to learn to live with it. And they told me that life is sacrifice and struggle. And that suffering is somehow a virtue. They have no concept of quality of life, mental well-being, or hobbies. Anything. They don't know what that is. They don't care that I wasn't set up to succeed. No one here cares about that. They think life here is normal. Abandoned and left behind to rot and be misunderstood, abused and psychologically tormented, and expected to live a fake life. I can't get out of this on my own. But people are unwilling to acknowledge that I am not the problem. I have been wronged. And I can't pull myself out of this situation on my own. I am in a disturbing environment that disturbs me to my core, surrounded by abusers. If my needs were acknowledged, I wouldn't be in this mess. I have spent all of my teenage years and up until a couple of years ago going to the therapist every week. And gone through many psychiatrists and psychologists and prescribed all the depression and anxiety medications there are. Honestly, everything they have told and how they treated me only did me more harm than good. Nothing they have ever said has ever helped. Completely ineffective treatments. It's almost like I wasn't the problem and it's the case that I am in a traumatic situation and don't have my needs met. I have been working on myself and undoing the damage that they have done. Started listening to myself. Only after I went off on my own, and started awakening spiritually, that's when I started, well, finding myself, and that, acknowledging my own needs and seeing how abused and wrong I was, because all they could do before was gaslight me and side with my parents. And I used to be really depressed and pessimistic, the most pessimistic person ever. Now I have found hope within, even when I used to think the only way out of this was to off myself, it was from a place of self-respect and self-love, and not resigning myself to these circumstances. I was optimistic and looking forward to getting a new life, hopeful for a new life. I was looking to the future with a sense of hope and possibility. So, yeah. I know enough about this place and how things work here, and also, not wanting to deal with them because they disturb me, and I know they'll never understand me or my needs. And I have been on anxiety medication. On benzos at some point. And medication for OCD, that it was me who had to find out that I had it. Because they had misdiagnosed me so much in the past. But honestly, I never felt any difference. Because that would be periods between treatments where I would come off them for a few months and or between treatments. Never felt a difference, it never got worse or better. It's almost like that wasn't the problem. Because how could I ever be satisfied with the fake life? And when you are not living your truth, it's meant to be uncomfortable, otherwise I wouldn't leave. I would just live empty and apathetic because I am here. I am living this lie in a role imposed on me by others that has nothing to do with who I actually am, and not surrounded by anything that has any meaning to me or reflects me, my purpose, or truth in any way. Because my soul knows I deserve more. They have treated my needs for safety, home, quality of life, and to be around my people as fanciful pipe dreams all my life. They would just tell me to get a life here and make friends here and have a job here, and maybe one day I could leave, when I can't let this be my life, or become this fake person. This isn't even the real world. Everything about this place is completely backwards. Being forced to live like them and speak their language, and not have access to any of the experiences, stimuli, or environments I needed. It's not like they didn't force me. And I had been living inside their ugly charade they built until I couldn't take it anymore. They were asking me to sacrifice my whole being. And I was doing that. Not anymore. I like this quote that goes, before you diagnose yourself with depression or low self-esteem, first make sure that you are not, in fact, just surrounded by arseholes. I am stuck in an endless nightmare. There is no help available. I am too sensitive. Which I don't have a problem with at all, but when UHSP is forced into a life that's not a life at all, it's a lie, and my idea of a personal hell has been abused since childhood by narcissistic parents and still is forced to live with them, forced into a role and identity that do not reflect me in the slightest. It really takes a toll on one's mental health after 27 years. I am forced to live in an unpleasant and hostile shithole, third world country. Everything and everyone surrounding me, every aspect of this culture disturbs me and disgusts me to my core. I can't even bear to hear them speak their language. This place is not my normal. Everyone is so ignorant and backwards. I suffer from severe and debilitating OCD, CPTSD, I am still mid-trauma, intrusive thoughts, and anxiety. I have sought treatment all my life, but therapists and psychiatrists have done more harm than good. People here don't have concept of quality of life and well-being. They are incapable of understanding me and my unmet needs. Medication doesn't work because I am not the problem. This place is. I need to live somewhere safe. I need a life of my own. I need to go home. But I can't do anything to help myself. Of course, there is no institutional help or organization I can turn to. My mental health is so fragile, and it's a struggle to even stay alive and conscious. I am holding on, barely, but it's all I can do. I live in fear. This place is evil. I feel like I am cursed. All my life I felt so doomed. I have seen too much and it's still all around me. I just want home and safety. I could have been someone, I could have been myself, had I just been born elsewhere. I am in so much pain, I have always been. But my voice, feelings, needs, and pain are ignored, dismissed, invalidated, and unacknowledged. Of course, that's what's expected from people from here. It's nice that the internet allowed me to connect to people who can see me and validate my feelings. I have been stuck in hell all my life. Can't see how or when I will be able to get out of here, and be somewhere safe and where I can breathe and focus on healing and building my life for the first time. My resilience, strength, and sanity are really being pushed to their limits. I can barely function. The only thing I can do for now is hold on. But it feels like there is no end to this torment in sight, and I can't figure out what I am supposed to do. I have tried contacting the I literally don't know what I am supposed to do. I am scared I will be left with no other options as how to end this torture. This can't be my life, and every day it only gets harder and more straining on my soul. This constant trauma and abuse has been going on for too long. I can't take it anymore. My fears try to take advantage of me. And try to disconnect me from myself. I just want to feel like the person I want to be and am inside. And not having my fears twist everything. I just want the right to be me, without anything telling me that's wrong or a lie or bad or I can't. They are trying to tell me to hate who I am. And that I don't have the right to be that. But I don't want to be them. I just try to defend myself and reassure myself all the time, and sometimes it backfires. They try to turn everything I love against me and vice versa, and they punch really low. They use anything they can, my own words and logic against me. I say them, because growing up that's how everyone around me talked to me and treated me. My narcissistic parents, or just anyone from this culture, really, therapists, etc. It's exactly what I would always be told. Every time I try to express myself, or how I felt, or explain myself. It's like my fears are echoes of exactly what they would say, and it's like I have to protect myself against them all the time. Because I know it's exactly what they would say and do and how they react when I do say something, or express any opinion, or try to explain myself. There is no one I can turn to for help or understanding here. They are committed to misunderstanding and invalidating me and forcing me to be this person and live this fake life and be like them. My life was stolen from me. I was set up to fail. What I have been put through is inhumane. Forced to live in a hostile and inhospitable country. Abused by my parents and everyone around me. I was born in a third world country. I don't belong here. They don't care. No one here in this shithole does. They are so ignorant. Strict, abusive, horrible parents. That is the norm here. I never saw it as normal. I always knew it was wrong. I never saw this as my life or them as my parents or this as my country. But that doesn't matter to the world. I have no rights. I am trapped in hell. I was owed a good life. That doesn't exist here. Now I am stuck in this shithole and don't have a right to leave. Don't have a right to normalcy or quality of life. These people are so ignorant. It's so disgusting and unpleasant. They have no concept of quality of life, hobbies or humanity. They are all pro-life. They think this is adequate or a good place to live. All my life I have spent horrified and traumatized by everything I saw. I just wanted a normal life. A decent life. I grew up around such misery and squalor and ignorance. And ugliness and evil. I have nothing in common with people here. There is nothing for me here. No life. I hate this culture. I am forced to live this fake life under this fake identity that was forced upon me, Inside literally my personal hell, a backwards and nonsensical world, where I don't belong and everything is so horrible. I am traumatized. This place is so hostile. My nervous system is wrecked. I could never breathe or feel safe. I need someone to see my pain. I need mercy from these circumstances. I am so traumatized and still in the trenches. I'm not okay. I am still not safe. I never had safety or a home. Whilst I won't try to gaslight my nervous system into thinking this is okay, I would appreciate some emotional support to alleviate some of it. I am still in the same situation that traumatized me. I can't be in my body because the stimuli and environment around me are disturbing and disgusting. I am not home. I am in an unsafe place. No comfort, surrounded by my abusers and forced to live in a hostile culture. Every time I feel myself in my body, and am present here, I feel small and trapped in a world that isn't my own. I am trapped in a nightmare. Forced to live as someone I am not. Surrounded by misery and squalor and unpleasantness and ugliness and ignorance. Nothing about this place is normal or safe. I have been abused and gaslit all my life. Told I am someone I am not. There is nothing for me here. I have written about this endlessly. I deserve safety. I don't know what to do. I just want my own life and to be myself and escape this place which is my personal hell. How can people ask me to feel okay and be doing well, when I am still in the trenches? I won't gaslight my soul or my nervous system and I won't become someone I am not. I have been asked to sacrifice who I am and my needs all my life for the sake of the status quo.